Thank you, Chairwoman, for having this meeting, and thank you, Ranking Member, as well. I'm going to make this a little personal. I'm curious what all three individuals who are testifying think of this. So on February 28th at my home, I received a voicemail. Actually, my wife did. And the voicemail said, this individual said, and this happens unfortunately to people in Congress, but I will do everything in my power to ensure that you are deposed, if not dead. Anything I can do to get you basically out of office. You are a traitor, Jeff Van Drew, and you deserve the fate of all traitors. He goes on to say, in written that we have before me, he goes on to say, should we, and he speaks about my wife, should we test the acceptability and get the direct response of a prominent GOP female by greeting Van Drew's wife with the Republican high five, putting our hands between her legs, lifting her over the hood of her car, and objectively recording her physical reaction to the tickle when she lands? He then writes, as a traitor, Van Drew has forfeited his right to protection under law. Know this, Jeff Van Drew, it doesn't stop here. God save you. He then goes on to say, this is treason, and the penalty for treason is execution. This applies to the great and to the small. He goes on after that to say, should conscientious critics take a cue from the armed rioters, storm his house, smash everything, violate his family, and walk away laughing? Would that be silly? And then finally, and he says a lot of other things, but I won't go into them, we are forced to ponder Thomas Jefferson's grim directive that for the good of our nation, the tree of liberty must be refreshed with the blood of tyrants and traitors. He's very angry, as many people know. I'm a Republican, and I used to be a Democrat, which is things that happen in life. What is unusual about this, and I just think everybody would be interested in it, he's a freelance reporter. And he writes for a newspaper called the Ocean City Sentinel. And that, everything I read to you except the original death threat, was actually in the paper as an op-ed, an opinion editorial. Not just a letter to the editor, but opinion editorial. So, of course, we're involved with the police and others and are looking into this. But I'd be curious. I mean, that was very chilling for my wife. I accept that. All of us who are in Congress accept the fact that we are going to go through things like this. It's not acceptable. The bar has been lowered recently. But what I ask is this: is that acceptable, or is that a form of terrorism to, say, literally threat your family, your children, your grandchildren, your wife, and to say that you're going to sexually assault her? Is that, and that you're of course going to kill me, and that all the political speak about tyrants, is that acceptable? Is that something, because evidently it's not, from what I understand from attorneys. I wanted your thoughts on it. Whoever wants to start.
Well, Representative, I'd be happy to start, because I've actually prosecuted a number of cases in our state that are similar to what you just suggested. Now, any constituent, anyone at all, is free to disagree with your policies or your vote, and they can let you know that they don't approve of the way that you conduct yourself in office. But what they cannot do is threaten you or your family with physical harm or death. And whether you do that to your neighbor that lives next door, or whether you do it to an elected official, it's illegal. So in our state, what I've been doing is we have a particular statute that involves using an electronic device to, in order to threaten an individual. So whether that's by telephone or, text message, if you post it on social media or it's an email, that is a crime. I've charged it over and over again, involving a number of public officials, all the way from, President Biden to Representative Slotkin to a judge that is on our Court of Claims, to a Republican member of our State House. So we have been very aggressive in terms of making sure that people understand the difference between what is acceptable First Amendment protected activity and what is a crime. And the sorts of threats that you and your family received, in my opinion, that is criminal conduct. It is illegal. And if you were in my state, I would prosecute.
Yeah, and Mr. Van Drew, if I could.
I'm so sorry. We're going to have to leave it at that. We have a strict rule of 5 minutes here. I apologize.
Thank you for the information.
Thank you.